and welcome to Deals with Heels, where female entrepreneurs thrive. I'm Debra, your host. Welcome to season 4. We made it. I'm so excited. Thank you so much for hanging in there, guys, and helping me along the journey and tuning in. I hope you've learned as much as I have. And I don't like to dilly-dally around. I just like to get to the good stuff. So that's what I'm going to do. We're starting out season 4 with a really big surprise. I know you guys are going to be excited, so I'm just going to get in it because we have a lot to talk about. Our guest is a transformational ADHD coach, a homeschool co-op leader, and holistic educator based in Oklahoma. She's the founder of a thriving enrichment-based co-op that supports homeschooling families through curriculum guidance, community connection, and hands-on learning. She also leads a powerful 6-month ADHD coaching program rooted in her signature framework, the 6 Keys of Abundance: self, time, spiritual, physical, money, and happiness. She is one of my best friends, my soul sister, my former co-host. Please welcome back to Deals with Heels, Christina Rose.
Goodness. I seriously almost just went right on cue when you were like, I'm Debra. And I'm like, I'm Christina.
I'm Christina.
Some things will never change.
We have tried so hard. We tried to find a time during season 3, but you have been so busy and have had just huge projects and changes happening. And so we are so excited to hear all about it. Of course, I know about it, but all of the audience is going to be super excited to hear everything that you're doing. So give us kind of a rundown of all of the things. I mean, I talked about it in your introduction, obviously, but not enough.
So it has been a whirlwind since I left at the end of season 2. We had started the school. The school, Meraki, actually started in my home right here. And we just got a new space. It is actually going to be in Edmond, Oklahoma. So that's really exciting to find that space that just fits us so well.
So explain a little bit what a co-op is. I think a lot of people understand what homeschooling is, but they don't understand what a co-op is and how helpful it can be to the process of doing it at home.
Actually, I didn't even know what a co-op was until about 1.5 years ago, honestly. So a co-op can be a couple of different things. There are co-ops that you can send your homeschool child to, and they can actually get curriculum-based learning. And then there are co-ops that you can go to as a family. So like they have events to help socialize your homeschool child. Ours is a little bit of all of the above. And of course, I couldn't be ADHD without being creative, right? So
Right.
I have to make my own spin on this. So our co-op, we do have family events. So for the whole family, even if a child is under the age of 4, not yet in school, but this is the kind of route that they're wanting to go on. So families can come, like we go to science museums together. We do activity play dates, and we have different play dates throughout the city. So kids can come and join to help with their socialization and also help build that community for the families as well.
I think that that's one of the things with when you start homeschooling, it's like how we're so isolated, right? You feel
Yes.
like you're going to be just isolated. One of my kids got in trouble in middle school and we had to homeschool him for 6 weeks. It was like, you're punishing me. That's what you're doing. You're punishing me.
Yeah. So, and usually co-ops, they really do just offer that support as kind of that extended family. Some even have sports attached to them as well. Kind of the bigger ones also have sports attached. So some co-ops kind of focus more on like elementary age. Some it's from elementary all the way to high school. Some of them do proms. So then that way the kids don't miss out on homeschool proms. Me and my co-founder, we really wanted to concentrate on just our age range of children and more.
I'm assuming you're talking about your younger.
Yes. So our age range for our co-op is 4 to 10, but we also have a program where it's called Meraki Kids. And the best way I can describe it, it's kind of like a Mother's Day Out, but this is just more created to like on Mondays, we do math and science. And then on Wednesdays, we do more social studies and ELA. And we just do a lot of that through learning and playing and really using group activities and learning social skills and all of that. So they can drop their kids off 11 to 3 on Monday and Wednesday. And also for people like me that still work, it gives you a chance to go and work for 8 hours a week without any interruptions. Or you can, we even have like day drop off. So let's say you have a hair appointment or you have a doctor's appointment. You can just drop your kids off for today, that day, and then they can still learn. Like on both sides of us, we have a grocery store within a mile on both sides of us as well. So there's over 3 acres of land there, lots of trees. We do kids yoga and meditation to start the day for self-regulation.
Love that. Now
It's so important.
you do mommy, kid,
Yes, I do mommy and me yoga.
mommy and me. I'm like, what did I
And
say? Mommy and me. That's it.
yeah, mommy and me yoga, and then one day a month I do family yoga, so the guys can join in and the husbands or whoever. I mean, who's ever in the family is more than welcome to come. But we're really enjoying this because it's so, there's been study after study of how important it is to be able to getting your kids to be able to self-regulate on how important that can be to their lifespan. And so, I mean, we don't start the day until 11 o'clock. A lot could have happened that morning. So before we transition into school things and activities, we will have a meditation, a 5-minute meditation, and a 10-minute yoga session to start off our day.
I think that is so fantastic. And our kids just get bombarded from not just us as parents, but expectations from media and from each other, of course.
Yes.
That starts at a very young age. So this helps everybody get on that really even keel. I'm an avid meditator, so I
And
wish I
I'm
would have
very
had my kids
excited.
do it and while they were young because it's such a fantastic practice.
Absolutely. We're excited. We're actually going to be partnering with OT and speech therapists and everything to come in and do clinics to also help and really get those IEPs. We are very ADHD neurodivergent friendly
Mhm.
family. And so it's really important to us to be able to give people that support. And also for that mom that may not be ADHD to be able, she might be an introvert, but her child is a very big extrovert to be able to come and then her be able to get her sanity back and them to be able to be an outlet and get creative.
So do you have classes for the parents too to help kind of not like counseling classes, but coping mechanisms and those
Yes.
kinds of things?
So I do put on an ADHD workshop once a month for the type of thing. And like I said, we are working with speech therapists. There's also a social interaction that I'm working with right now to talk about how to socially be able to have conversations between kids of you hurt my feelings and kind of going back and forth and also teaching the parents because I know personally for me I was not able to use my voice growing up. So for my child to be able to use her voice or his voice, it's important. And also for both of those kids to say, you hurt my feelings. Okay, now let's go through all of this. And so we work with them both together to figure out why and so that's what we're hoping to do more with the families is bring them in. So the parents can learn these techniques too.
That's right. That's fantastic. So the audience, if they're not, I mean, if you're from Oklahoma, close to the Edmond, Oklahoma area, then of course you need to call Christina for her co-op. But what about our listeners that aren't close enough to take part in Meraki? What should they look for when they're looking for a co-op? What are the things that stand out as this is a really good place?
Big things is kind of their mission because everyone I mean, there are faith-based ones, there are nature-based ones, there are more like, hey, to give like mommy and me groups, it's just more of a meetup for that social. So it kind of depends what you're looking for. And I will say, I know that Facebook sometimes is getting more and more across, kind of getting out of date. But when it comes to some of these Facebook homeschool groups, they are really picking up and very strong in being able to connect the community and help your kids get socialization. So I would really suggest like what you are needing. Are you needing when you're homeschooling, are you needing more of the social? Are you needing more of getting the kids outside to play? Or are you needing more of the education standpoint of it because you don't feel comfortable having their full education in their hands? We are
And maybe a bit of both,
Yes,
right?
and a little bit of both. So, I know they're in like 6 different states, but Braintree, it's an affiliate of, like the school districts. So even though you are enrolled with a school district, they actually do a learning fund. So right now their learning fund is $1,900. So then like we as a co-op, we are a vendor. So you can use that learning fund for us, and then it doesn't come out of your pocket either.
That's
So
fantastic.
yes, and then they also test the kids. So for me, I was very scared of if I ever transitioned back into public school, I wanted to know my kids were not gonna be behind. So they do testing and stuff like that, and you do have to turn in different assignments. You get to pick your own curriculum and all of that, but it's also a good way to get with something like that. And I think there's Epic here too, but to get with a program like that, because they're going to have lots of resources for you to figure out the best plan in that. And the great thing with that is nothing can be religious based. So it's very neutral across the board.
I love that
Yeah.
so much. Well, that is fantastic, and I remember when you were putting the school in your house, I was like, "Man, God
You
bless
were
you,
like, are you
girl."
sure?
I was like, "I support it. I'm so happy for you. I could tell that this is what you're doing, and I support that, but there is not a single chance in hell that I could ever do it." I'm such an introvert, which is crazy. I know a lot of people say, "But you're not a," but I gotta have like an actual I would feel so overwhelmed, I think, with it in my space. But I commend you and look at how far you've come. That's fantastic.
Well, thank you. So
Well, let's
it's very exciting, and my whole mission with this is to really change the face of education. We no longer fit in boxes. We are not creating workers, or we're not
yeah,
creating walkers. We are creating thinkers. Like we want them to think for themselves. We want them to think outside the box, because this world needs a lot more creativity and a lot more individual to bring it out.
we need people capable of critical thought. And, that's Rockefeller. He was like, "We want workers, not thinkers." And it just we have a whole country that's struggling unless you are a naturally creative person and creativity is thought, they can think about stuff. In fact, they're often off on their own thinking about stuff because it's so misdirected and we haven't nurtured it the way we need to nurture it. Such a fantastic mission and cause in school. I'm so excited for you, but I also want to dive into your ADHD coaching because you have been passionate about this. You've done it the whole time, but not to the level. You didn't have your own framework all the way developed yet, and you have worked so hard to put the whole thing together. So let's talk about that.
Absolutely. I mean, it's so crazy. I was diagnosed in September of 89. I found all the paperwork and found that. So I grew up like this is me. I'm weird, like I was on the medicine. And it never dawned on me how it affected so many people because it was like I was the sole ranger. I grew up in a very small town and I never spoke a word of my ADHD until 2021. Never because I never wanted it to cripple me from any job or anything. And in 2020, my son was actually diagnosed with ADHD and ODD. So, of course, me secretly digging and digging of, okay, he has none of the same symptoms that I do. What does this look like? And I was working for a company and I was trying to get our training status back because during 2020, they took them all away. And she goes, "Do you have ADHD?" And I said, "Actually, a matter of fact, I do." And she goes, "It's okay, Christina. We'll get your brain like the rest of ours."
Womp.
And yeah, okay. If anybody
Thanks for
knows
wanting to
me,
change me. Thanks for wanting
like
to fix me.
from that very moment, I came home and told Dustin, I have to do something about this because I had saw on a lot of these groups, like these women and men, like, I can't do this, I can't do that. And it's like, you can do anything you want to do, you know? My ADHD has never been a disability. I mean, it was just like, "Oh, I have to, somebody can tell me do it this way, and I know that it's not going to work. So I'm going to go through step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to figure it out and do it my own way, even though sometimes it might have been harder. I mean, we've experienced this.
Well, I mean, it might be harder, but our brains absorb information in a variety of different ways.
Mm,
And it's like I was a big math nerd. And so I can sit down with somebody and work a math problem, and that person and I get the same answer, but we did the math problem completely different. And I just think a lot of it's that. And we've been so conditioned that we have to do it this way. This is the way. And there's a lot of different ways that our brains
yeah,
work. So you needed those steps to
absolutely.
understand it, where somebody else didn't need all of those steps. And we're forcing that person to probably take too many steps.
Hmm. And at
Like the
home,
whole show your work and the math problem. Did I not put the right answer down? Well, how do we know you got it right? Got it in the right way?
there is
Does it
no,
matter how I got it if I knew the answer?
yes. I mean,
But
as
they
long as you
make
didn't
you
use a
write
calculator.
all I mean, that is the kind of thing that made my ADHD go nuts, right? Forcing me to do things unnecessary that aren't necessary. Why is that necessary?
It
Why do
is.
I have to write every little thing down? If
And
I got
I
the answer,
totally agree with you. You know,
it made me so rebellious. That's what it did to me. It made me very rebellious.
so, with my framework, at first, I do questionnaires to figure out whether you're working out of the left side of your brain or the right side, because that's how the program is designed. Because, like you said, you did the math problem this way, but somebody else might have needed to do it that way. And to force somebody, it's not going to be their natural flow. It's
Not
just not.
authentic.
They're going to have resistance the whole way. So, that's number one. So then we need to figure out how we need to open up that other side of the brain and also give that one, whether you're working out of the left or right, a break so you can have full power over your brain. And through these 6 keys, I mean, self, we all know you cannot pour from an empty cup. You know, you have to put that oxygen mask on yourself. So before we can go anywhere, we have to work on ourselves. And so we do a 28-day series of things through to get really working on yourself and working on getting those limiting beliefs and whatever we are working on towards that. Like some people might want to be going towards their career, or some people might want to be going through the home path, you know, how do I handle 3 children? So whatever stage of life they are in, whether they're coming empty nesters, you know, going through that stage. And then we move on to spiritual. Whether all religions aside, when you are working on your spirituality, when you're working through meditation and just healing through your body, it's such a crucial piece to your true happiness. And then we move on to physical because it's especially us with ADHD, we need to be moving our body at minimum 15 minutes a day. And really, I mean, a lot of ADHD have a hard time with physical. A lot of it, even just physically brushing their teeth, physically taking a shower. Some of those things are very hard. So really retraining that brain to and then we move on to time because truthfully that's the only thing that we have control over is our time. And so much of the time we get lost in hyper focus or doom scrolling or paralyzation or executive dysfunction and really paralyze ourselves to where we can't even do anything. And so that's why it goes back to each of these other ones being such a great piece of that beautiful pie. After we've conquered time, and then we go into money because it's, I mean, money with energy, money, you got to have some kind of money to live and survive, but also,
Well, it's more often a block than
yeah,
anything else. It's more often a block.
absolutely.
We're in such a commercialized world. Everything is about commerce. There's nothing that's not commerce. A woman or a man feeding their family, taking care of the household, making sure it operates, and all the business of life, which is significant. Any adult that's doing it knows that doesn't generate any form of, it's not considered labor. They don't assign any value to it.
Right.
And that's just, it's such a transactional that it becomes more of a block, I think, than anything else that has to be cleared. And like anything with ADHD, if you hyper focus on that, which is
Hmm.
worry, which
Yeah.
is worry.
Absolutely. And to really, we really go into about money just being energy and a vibration and really releasing those negative blocks around money because a lot of people don't realize about 89% of society truly feels, I mean, truly knows that they have some kind of money trauma just because it was passed down from generation to generation and don't even realize that you have it, to be honest, until you start doing the work.
And I think in a certain way, society inflicts it on us intentionally so
Mm,
that we're not able to grow past the manipulation of the 40-hour work week and that it's got to be this way and don't
thanks,
ask
Henry
questions
Ford.
and don't tell us there's a better way, right? Don't tell us. Screw Henry Ford and his 40-hour work week to protect
Right?
us, to
Yeah.
protect us.
Let's get the
We're
quotes going.
Yeah, but protect. We're protecting us with the 40-hour work week. Yeah, I get it. I get it. But now look at us. We're chained to that, trading hours for dollars. And I
Mhm,
think that we get, what's the bet? I hope he can find a good job.
mhm.
That's always it.
Yep.
Everything is surrounded around that. And it is just one more thing that is difficult for a creative person to do.
Absolutely. And then the last one is just growth. And throughout the whole thing, we should be growing, but just truly being a learning based individual. Did you go to bed learning something somehow new that you didn't either know about yourself, didn't know about your ADHD to really learn to grow and ever be evolving and ever be shedding? Because guess what? For me and you, your grandchildren, everything is we literally our children are watching every single one of our actions. And if we're not learning and growing, how are we going to ever teach them to learn
And
and
if we
grow as
don't
well?
heal that karma,
Yeah,
gosh, people in our ancestral downline, it falls onto them to do it. And I'm healing mine. I'm not gonna, my kids got their own stuff, right? They got another side of the family that's got karma on it too,
right.
right? Not just my spiritual ancestral lines. They've got their own to deal with as well from their dad's side. It may seem like just voodoo nonsense to you guys, but I am here to tell you that it makes a big difference and not just on the baggage, but on the support,
Oh,
on the support. Your ancestors stand with you and give you that support. Boy, you're really working on not just in the school level, teaching those kids to tap into all of that power, but also reframing those adult minds. Such a big deal. I'm so proud of you.
thank you. I mean, this has always been my passion and
1,000%. You've always done it. You do it naturally. It's like
I
my
love
sales
it.
coaching. It's natural. We just do it. You know that's the right thing.
Well, I mean, I mean, I would have been a teacher, but then I realized about grade 6 that that was out the window because I was never going to college because I could barely pass school. And so that was my mindset. Well, teachers out. So that's why I loved having training restaurants. And, that was where that one little thing, it's okay, Christina, we'll get your brain like the rest of us. I would just love
Hmm.
to go to her now and be like, what about my brain?
Right. It is we're so hard on one another. We're so hard on one another, harder than we should be. And a lot of times we're pitted against each other. I've decided that sometimes it's like the vanity metrics for marketing, right? We get so caught up, even people that shouldn't be on social media advertising are on there. And it's because, oh my God, I got 500 likes. That dopamine hit from it's intentional to make you want to come back to it. So you see the great results when honestly, the only results that matter are the ones that give you a lift in business. But we get so tied up in the external part of success. So it translates so well over to that too. The inside's what matters.
Absolutely. I mean, you would be surprised. And of course, you know this 100%, but for our audience, you would be surprised at just taking an 30 minutes to an hour a day and just working on yourself and taking care of yourself. Miss Deborah can tell you this
Yeah.
of how much better your life can be in all of those areas.
It is, and I think that people think about self-care in the sense of, well, I don't want to go get a manicure, or I don't want to take a bath, or I don't want to sit down and meditate. But you can't think of it. Taking care of yourself sometimes is going to the batting cages.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's just going to the pool and sitting in the sun. Sometimes it's reading a book, but it's doing something that isn't required. It's not
There you
required.
go. Yes. And everybody is different. Everybody loves something else. I personally go to the gym just so I will do a workout. Half the time I do my yoga up there or do something else, but it's just getting out of the house to do that thing. I'm not a big fan of lifting weights, to be totally honest with you.
No, you're there because you're an extrovert, and that fills you up. The energy of the room fills you up.
But it's so crazy because I started looking. Every person in there is there for a different reason, and every body is different. Every body in there is no two bodies that are exactly the same. And that's good because we're all individuals and we all are our own self. And so, what fills your cup up might not fill my cup up, but that's the most important thing through my 6-month framework is we are focusing on you and your superpower so you can be a good business owner or you can be a good mom or you can be just a great person, whichever you are looking for. We can adapt it to that thing.
And it going through something like that, you guys, will help you just center yourself and get rid of all of the external pressures and expectations so that you can even find your passion. Until you let go of all of that, you don't know what you deep down really want to do and what you're passionate about because you're filled up with what your mom wanted you to do and this person wanted you to do. And you get that in your mind that nothing else, you'll never live up to it if you don't just do that. So I'm just not going to do anything. I'm just going to do this and keep doing this because it feels unsurmountable. And going through something like Christina's program will help you let go of those things and just center yourself in it and feel the parts of you that, for me, there are definitely parts of me that are not as likable as others. I think we all have those. Mine are just more intense and loud sometimes, and so it's easy to see them. But learning to love those parts of me and know that they're just as lovable, even though some people don't. I mean, just face it, they're not always likable, right?
Right.
I don't like that part of myself. Let's face it, she's not the best. That's why she's not in charge. But we need her. She's important.
Yes.
She's helpful. We need her, that part of me. And so it helps you figure that out. Christina helped me so much with that. Just being my friend and helping me sort through and actually loving those parts of me, right?
And
Seeing
that is the
somebody
biggest.
actually do that. So I know how valuable all of those things are. One of the things that I really want to focus on, oh, and I have something too that I want to do. Um, So my granddaughter has been here a lot, and a friend of mine had given me this thing. I was struggling to get through. I was just in mud, and like that's kind of my creative process. A little bit of it stuck, kind of forcing me to think things through. And so he got me this little, it's probably going to be backwards, but it reads badass.
Oh,
Right? And so my granddaughter it's her very favorite thing in my house. She carries it around and pushes the button a million times. So this one's for you.
you ready?
I'm ready.
Are you ready? The very first book I actually ever read all by my own without any cliff notes 4 or 5 years ago.
Oh my God. Do
This
you have the button?
Huh? Yeah,
Do you have
it's
the button? Teddy carries it around everywhere and pushes it and just looks at me and pushes it again. And if somebody says something, then she pushes it a bunch. She's not even quite 2, you guys. So it's not like a 12-year-old doing it. But I'm like, it's positive affirmations. I'm not going to yell at her. Keep pushing it. Listen and
Listen,
absorb it,
yes.
my sweet thing.
That truthfully is probably my top 3 books of all time. I mean, I've read lots of more books by now, but,
Hmm.
yeah, I actually, um I was looking for something because during 2020,
That's so funny. So I have like a little square part, like the small, like condensed version that came with the button.
yes,
And so she had the book for a while too. She's loves books, and my daughter did too. And but yeah, this I'm like, I am queuing it up to the back because it says a variety of different things, and I'm queuing it up to the badass one just for Christina. And I had no idea.
yes. Well, thank you. And guys, seriously, read that book and you'll understand why. Because I mean, you are a badass.
You are a badass. You are.
Just keep
And
getting that
other
shit
people,
together.
yes, exactly, exactly. And that is very typical for Christina and I for me to do that. And it's connection, friends. That's what it is. It's
It's been that way
connection.
since day 1 at Mexican radio.
It sure has been. It sure has been. It's
Yeah,
so good to have you back. I've missed you so much. I talked about you in several episodes. Well, Christina, I did taught me this, and I love it so much.
I'm super
Well,
proud of you for taking care of yourself because there used to be a time where you're like, "I'll just push through.
I'll just do it.
I'll
And
just
I
do
can
it."
still do that, but it just isn't necessary.
Yeah.
And those expectations and people pleasing, it's really hard to break free of it. And it feels like you're doing something wrong.
Uh,
And I would call Christina. I know I'm doing what's right for me, but it feels like I'm doing something wrong. And it's just conditioning. And if you do it enough times, it's like practice anything else. If you practice it enough times, you're good at it.
yep.
And so I got better at it. And I still have a
It's
tendency to
still
dip
hard.
back.
I mean, even 5 years later of me constantly just I kinda do my framework literally twice a year. I kinda start over,
Hmm.
and do it in 28-day cycles. So I do have, like, groups that we just do little 28-day missions, and they're very small things because that small thing can lead to big results.
I mean, it does. It does. Some of the smallest changes that I make the biggest impact on my life later on if you're consistent with it. A very small change can do
Mhm.
just that. It's so amazing.
It really, really is. And, for so many times still, some things I'm like, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, and I gotta, it's gotta be done right now. And it's like,
Hmm.
you know,
Hello, Aries rising.
I know, right?
And that Virgo moon being all perfectionist in there.
I know. Like I was telling my husband earlier, because it's been such a crazy time. I was like, I'm gonna do a reset on our house this week. And he was like, oh yikes.
Okay.
Because he knows what that means. If I do a complete reset and do redo schedules and everything, it's fixing to happen.
Well, it's a good time, right? Right after the big new moon. And I've got a big project going on too. And I'm about to be really head down writing. And it's an important place, but boy, you can't. I figured out that, so I'm very blessed, y'all. I can be artistic and creative and all the things. And I can be very business and analytical and nerdy. And that I can't do both at the same time. And
Mm,
attempting to causes me to just feel stuck, like I can't do either one because the other one is in the other one's way. And
mm,
I'm like, I can't do this because this person's harping on my ass about not getting my admin done. And this person just wants to be dreamy and think of cool things and imagine and create things. And so having that turmoil within your own mind and body is paralyzing. It's
it really is.
paralyzing.
It
And
really is.
so have learning to delegate and let go of the control admin side because the creativity is what really I am. So it's been a difficult process for me. It just makes everything take longer and it's, healing and growing, getting better at it every day
I always tell
amidst the
people, what does
chaos.
the queen bee love to do? And then everything else delegate out.
That's right. That's really, really good. And it's important because once you're in that thriving space and you know it and that's your passion, not that I can't do the rest of it, I can. But should I be? Is
Yeah.
that the best thing for me? Is that the best thing for everyone around me?
I
No.
mean, that
Creative
goes back
Deborah
to your
is
time. I mean,
right.
your energy, your time, your energy. Is it really worth getting sick or wearing yourself down for something that, yes, you can do, but also maybe somebody can do it a little bit better and a lot faster, and you get more time to be creative.
And then I'm better to be around for everybody, not
Mm,
just,
yeah,
I mean, for myself too. I'm in my more natural, authentic state. And so, yeah, it's a hard thing. Christina can help you all figure that out. One of the things I want to end on for this season is we have a lot of damn chaos happening around us all the time that we have no control over. And I think it gets us all wound up. Sometimes I think intentionally because we're all bickering, so we don't notice what our leaders are doing behind closed doors. But we can't change it and we can't fix any of that. And I think it's really important to grant grace, right? More important
absolutely.
than anything else is just grant a little bit of grace. I'm really good at it up to a point, and I'm not saying let somebody walk all over you because Christina and I are never going to do that. But and I mean, there have been times where I'm distracted and I inadvertently cut someone off on the highway, or I snap at somebody because I was not in a good mood or I didn't eat breakfast, honestly, let's face it. I didn't eat, so I was a little bit grumpy or hangry, and so I snapped at somebody. And that happens to all of us. No one is immune from that type of behavior that frankly needs and deserves grace. Now, if I'm snapping at you every damn day, yeah, that's a whole nother thing. But those small little things, the one person could be having the worst day of their life, grant them a little bit of grace because you don't know. So, what tips can you give us to help us remember to grant grace?
I mean, think, would I want somebody to do this for me? Okay. Would I want somebody to give me grace when I'm not having a very good day? I mean, to be honest, I snapped at my kids on Wednesday night because I worked a 12-hour day, which is very, very, very unlike me. And I was I was not expecting what I came home to. And I kind of snapped. And Jordan just looked at me and she says, Mama, it's okay to have a long day, but I didn't do anything.
You've taught her so well. She
And
calling
I'm
you on
like,
your
"You know
stuff.
what? You didn't do anything, sweetheart, and I'm sorry." I said, "Mommy is just tired, and thank you for bringing it to my attention." Because a lot of times, if we just bring something to somebody's attention, it right there is showing grace, because sometimes we kinda get stuck in old patterns, and we don't even realize we're doing it. It's that amygdala is all out of whack and we don't even realize it sometimes. So just really, what would you do unto others as you would want them to do to you? So showing that grace, because sometimes you need grace because we're not all
And you
perfect.
don't know what giving it does, what you granting that person grace and telling them it's okay might have changed everything for them, right? It might change everything for them for you to be able to do that one thing for them.
Absolutely. And I mean, It's so important because there's so much going on in the world and so much going on in people's lives that sometimes we don't even know. And they might have just gotten fired from their job and haven't even, or they might be wondering where their next meal is. And to just be able to be that soundboard and know, hey, I would love that too if somebody gave me grace when I'm going through a lot of things at home too. It's how can I help someone else versus how can I help myself?
And I mean, look, it's been since what was it, 1961 maybe when JFK said that. It's not what your country can do for you, it's what you can do for your country. And back then, that meant something meaningful. Now, it's what can you give your country is what it feels like, right? They're so not focused on all of us. And you know why? Because we're not focused on us. We're not focused on us.
We're worried about everything else but what's going
Mhm.
on in here,
Yeah.
and
So
yeah,
that's
so
it's a really important, very important lesson. And I love that. Do just really back to that very simple thing. Do unto others.
as you
Grant
would
that
want
little
them
bit
to
of
do to you.
grace.
And that was
And
the so important thing, like, when my daughter said that to me, because 1, I have given her the space to speak freely. Sometimes I'm like,
right.
"Are you really saying this to me right now?" But
Hmm.
also, I'm teaching her to have a voice and to
And that it's okay.
yeah,
It's okay if you snap, just apologize and don't be defensive about it. That's the whole thing. It starts a big fight because somebody gets defensive and wants to argue about whether or not they were short and snapped, right?
mhm,
So I had a woman say this to me, and I thought about you because we did the whole thing where we were talking to our younger self. Mine was like a first grade picture, and you and Dustin had childhood pictures. And this was a big way to be better to yourself. And all of the things that you say to yourself and you say to other people, you imagine a baby picture of yourself. Are you willing to say it to her? If you're willing to say it to her, boy, you know, if you will curb it, you cannot say that to your baby little self right there. That's
yeah,
always a good gauge of would baby me think it was good idea for me to snap at somebody? Because like Jordan's age, they're so empathetic, right? They're so empathetic on a natural, authentic level. Children are very empathetic.
absolutely, and they're learning and growing and developing their self at that age, and it's so important to let them explore that and let them, ask questions. Like my son, we gotta go through 6 whys before, "Well, why are we doing this? Well, why can't we do you know what I mean? And he's not doing it to be a jerk or he
Naturally
genuinely wants
curious.
to know of
That
all
was
the little
me.
details of what we're gonna do. "Are we going to 5 stores, mama? What stores are we going to?" Like,
That was me. I was curious. I asked lots of questions. And, sometimes my mom was always pretty good at explaining. I was an explaining parent, but I knew someone in college. It was a friend of a boy that I was dating, and he had a little toddler. And I am not even playing that every time she would ask something, he would say, it's magic. So he didn't have to explain. If he was going to be a long explanation, he would just say, it's magic.
there
And she
you
would
go,
say, okay. She was little, like 2 or 3 years old. It's magic. Like such a
magic,
cop out, man. I vowed I'm never going to. I'm always going to say the real thing, unless it's Santa Claus and then it's magic.
and then it's magic. Yep.
Well, not surprised that we went long because I haven't had you on the show. I'm so excited that you're back and it's just so fantastic. All of the wonderful things you're doing. It really, truly is. And I know everyone's so excited to hear from you again. I'm grateful to have you back on the show. Please tell everyone how they can find out about your co op if they're local and your ADHD coaching. Local people can take that too, but that is available worldwide, your ADHD coaching platform, correct?
Yes, it is. So you can do Meraki. A Meraki Primary Co-op is what it's under Facebook and TikTok. And then Christina Rose on all social platforms. You can find me on there. I'm actually in the process of working on my website and stuff. So just any of my platforms, you can reach me on there.
And you have a Facebook group too, right?
Yes, yes. It's an ADHD Facebook group. Christina Rose, getting your shit together.
And we will link to all of those things and her email in the show notes. And a word about Facebook is not the Facebook of old times where everybody watched funny cat videos and got to see pictures from their old high school classmates. But one of the things that Facebook does better than anything else is those Facebook groups. They're really important. And I have found some groups that are so helpful and beneficial to one another and offer the best advice, and that's what Christina's group is. If you're not a big fan of Facebook in general, and I definitely, it's not my favorite either,
It's not my
but
fa but also I'm with you when some of the groups, it's like, "Goodbye."
right,
But some of them are very, very beneficial, especially from that homeschool, ADHD, really trying because so many people are getting diagnosed later in life, and so they've lived with all of this, and it's like, is it ADHD? Is it, And so I really want that to just really it's more of a knowledge platform versus just coming in asking, like,
right. I mean, you can get advice
anonymous
and
type things. It's just more for education purposes and hopefully giving you that one little nudge to get whatever you're wanting, that path that you're wanting to go down.
or the support if you're struggling. I don't know what I'm doing. You can get tips and support, and those are great places. So please check that out, and we will link to it in the show notes. As always, you can find a link to my free ebook titled Five Steps to Having a Mindset for Success. That will be in the show notes and link to our website, dealswithheels.com. I guess that's it. Until next week, Christina, we got to do it together. Oh my God.